So let's talk about WordPress, probably the most powerful, flexible option you have in terms of building your own freelance website. So there's a lot of different templates you can use that are free, that are already installed when you have WordPress. WordPress does require a hosting plan, and you need to install WordPress on your hosting plan. And you can link up your domain name on your hosting plan to have a formal domain name. So after you've installed WordPress, this is kind of the basic dashboard. I'm not going to be going through how to use WordPress, but just kind of showing you through the template process to try to find a layout or a template that would work best for your freelancer website. So first of all, let's talk about the free default themes. So we're just going to go to Appearance and Themes and check those out. It's amazing what you can do with what they already have for you for free. And it's going to depend on what you want to focus on first and what industry you're in, whether you want to lead with a photo, whether you want to lead with a video, or whether you want to lead with type or a headline. So you can preview these at any time. We can go ahead and do a live preview to see how it works. Of course, you can customize these pretty heavily if you know coding or CSS, but even out of the box, these things are pretty customizable. You can even change the menu system very easily. They've just recently updated WordPress and they're continuing to change the desktop or the dashboard, so you might see some differences from when you're looking at it. But it's overall pretty much the same. You can go ahead and just activate that theme, and then you can customize. So let's say we want to go ahead and activate this. We can go down to Customize, and that's how you can go in and do some of the theme options, edit the menus, and then you can go down to Theme Editor, which is going to be a little bit more advanced. So if you know any kind of coding, or if this is what you do for a living, this is where you're going to be going to edit all sorts of template files and CSS files and PHP files. So if you're kind of the advanced user, you can go to Theme Editor and really have a little bit of fun with this. But if not, you can go to Customize, and then you can do your themes that way. So these are all default themes. You know, they're not going to be for everybody. This one's not necessarily great for a portfolio. It's great for a regular business that may have products. So let's see if we can't find a few free or premium WordPress templates that I think would work really good with the type of layouts you want. So I'm going to take my layout guide here I have that has some different website layout ideas, and I'm going to find a theme that I think matches really well for each one of those layouts, and I'm going to have that as another downloadable resource in this lesson, so you can get some ideas of what WordPress themes would match really good with those layouts. Of course, you can add in what's called plugins. These are extra little plugins you can add to a WordPress site. It could be social media that you're adding onto your website. It could be SEO or adding some search stuff onto your website. You can actually search free plugins on a lot of different places, and you can download those to add additional functionality to your website. And this is the big power and benefit to WordPress, is there's a learning curve in learning what's a plugin and what's a theme and how do I get started with all that. But once you understand plugins and themes, you've really understood a big part of WordPress and how it works. So there's a great SEO plugin that you can download to be able to add SEO and be able to be searchable. These are things that may not always be in Squarespace. Of course, they have some of that built in. But the great thing about WordPress is you have complete control over this. You can have 30 plugins that all help drive your website and drive customers to your website or clients. So you have maximum customability there. So we're going to look for some web templates or WordPress templates. We're going to go to one of my favorite places to go, which is thecreativemarket.com. And they have a lot of great, not only photos and graphics, but they also have WordPress themes. Right here, you can also get plugins as well, if there's specific plugins you're looking for, which is basically additional functionalities you're adding to your website, is what a plugin is. So let's go ahead and find, these are different ideas. So there's a business, blog, commerce, nonprofit, minimal. We want to do portfolio for our particular one, so we're going to click on the portfolio ones. Of course, you can order these by popularity, but I like to order them on Handpicked is pretty good because they're curated. But let's go through these, and I've already, make sure you download that resource. I've already picked out several. I've done a couple hours of research on templates. I've used several of these for client projects when I did web design for client work, and they're really flexible and pretty solid options. And they're pretty affordable. Some of them are only $25. Some are about $60. Some of the high-end ones could be a couple $100. But I don't think you need to really spend all that much to get a really good solid template. I mean, you can have one that's $5 right here, and it's got kind of a lot of functionality built in there. You can go ahead and preview this. $5, that's not much for a website, is it? So let's go ahead and click on it and see what this looks like. This is great for a portfolio. If this is the style that you want to, you could change your background image. You can have a full screen video when they go on the web page. Always look at the reviews. I don't buy anything under 4 stars. Doesn't matter how cheap it is. If it's under 4 stars, I'm very weary of it. So this looks like a really nice, modern, clean design at $60. So let's go ahead and look at the live preview. Ooh, this is very simplistic. I even like the little touches that it has, that my arrow icon has turned into a little icon there. It's a really nice touch. So this would be great for a photographer. Very, very simple. And some of the simple ones are great because they're going to be really easy to edit. Some of these more complex template sites, they're overwhelming when you're still learning how to do WordPress if you're new to WordPress. So sometimes these more simplistic ones work really well because they don't have a lot of working parts to them and they're not confusing to edit. So let's take a look at this one. This one's a little more affordable at $24. Let's take a look at this. Very simplistic, clean. I'm sure you can change the column width and the photo size for those. So these are all pop-up videos. They're very simple. But I would almost be willing to work with a free template if it's going to be quite this basic. So let's try to find some free templates just so I can show you how to find those. So the best place to go for that is wordpress.org. It's the nonprofit organization that covers WordPress. So anything with the .org is nonprofit. They're not trying to make money. They're a nonprofit open source company. So you can trust anything that wordpress.org puts out. These are all free. Let's take a look. Of course, the quality goes down a little bit when you're looking at free. But if you kind of spend some time adding a plugin or working with the layout a little bit, you could probably get this to where you need it to be. Ooh, this Neptune looks pretty good. So you can just download it and you would just go and install it. You would go to Appearance, Themes, once you download that zip file, and you click up here to add new, and you'll be able to upload your theme right here, and then you'll be able to select it on the bottom. So please check out those recommendations. Of course, you can look on your own to find what you think would work best for your portfolio. But just wanted to take 10 minutes or so to talk about WordPress as it's the most flexible option. It takes a little bit more time to get set up and learn, but it's the most flexible option you have available.